Hey everybody, Matt Logley here with SRP Medical Marketing, and I want to come to you today with commandment number 6. And that commandment, very simply, is to treat your business like a patient. Now, what do I mean by treating your business like a patient? Well, I want you to think about it this way. As a doctor or as a medical professional, you could look at somebody's blood work, and if they were in Thailand, you could look at their blood work and you could develop a plan and a regimen. You could tell whether that patient was healthy or not. The same holds true when I look at your medical practice, right? Now, you can look at that same patient's blood work, and you can not only determine get a pretty good idea of what's going on, you can start to ask a few clarifying questions and hone in. And then from there, you can start to build out a plan to get that patient healthy. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a patient who comes in and they get the blood work done. You sit down with them, you talk to them about what's going on in their life, and they tell you that, they look healthy on the outside. They might be a tad overweight, maybe just by weighing them in. Maybe they were 10 pounds overweight or something like that, but they don't, they're not fat or have the pear-shaped body going on. They tell you that they only drink 2 days a week. You ever notice that everybody only drinks 2 days a week? They only drink 2 days a week. They're telling you that they work out a couple times a week, and they eat well, that they, don't eat that many burgers, don't eat French fries, things like that. So you draw their blood, and their blood work comes back, and it tells a completely different story. That completely different story is that they have 500 plus triglycerides. They have 300 LDL. They have 20 HDL, and their A1C1 is, say, 8, okay? The blood work is telling you a completely different story than what they have told you. And so what you do is you start to develop a regimen or a plan to get them healthy. Now, you're not just going to prescribe pills, right? You want to prescribe something that is going to get them overall healthy, preferably to be able to do this without just pumping a bunch of pills down their stomach. So you tell them, okay, you got to work out 3 days a week. I want you to do a mix of cardio, blah, 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 cut back the drinking, go to a keto diet. You give them all this information, you give them all these resources, and you tell them to come back in 3 months. You come back in 3 months. You sit down with them before you do their blood work. They say, yeah, I'm working out 3 days a week. I have them, I'm drinking maybe once a week. I am eating a full keto diet. I'm not drinking any sodas, blah, 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 blah. You get their blood work, and it hasn't changed one iota. What does that tell you, right? You can look at that blood work, and you can say, something ain't right, okay? You can have another patient come along, have the same numbers. They follow the protocol, and they come back in 3 months later, and they've cut their triglycerides down to 250, their LDL down to, say, 125, and their HDLs at, say, let's say 50 or 40, okay, or whatever. And they basically cut everything in half. So who's following the plan? Who's following the regimen? Okay, you have to treat your business exactly the same way. It's a long way that I'm explaining to you, but I want you to really get this, because this is a really important commandment to get. You've got to treat your business just like a patient. And how you do that is you have to have a certain kind of metrics that you can measure each and every single day to know whether or not your patient, the practice, is getting healthy. Let me give you an example. Those numbers that I just shared with you, those blood protocol numbers, those were mine, okay? Now, I'm in this business, right? I got kind of off track, So what I did was I started monitoring things daily in my life. Amount of time I work out, calories I consume, type of calories I consume, consumption of alcohol, blah, 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 blah. And now my numbers are better. I'm patient number 2, okay? The same thing holds true with your practice. Do you have a set of metrics that you measure each and every single day? Now, in my practices, I have a set of metrics that I can measure each and every single day, and I can tell you whether or not the patient is healthy, meaning the practice, okay? So here's some of the things that I measure on a regular basis. I measure these things daily. How many new appointments did we book today? Okay. I know that if we book 10 appointments, 7 are going to show, and out of those 7, 3 or 4 are going to buy. Okay. And so I measure how many appointments booked, what's the show rate of a patient, of a new patient. And these are new appointments, by the way. These aren't existing patients. So how many new appointments did we book a day? How many inquiries did we have that day for new appointments? What's the show percentage of patients? What's my close percentage? What's our rate of closing people into treatment plans? And The other one is average revenue per transaction. Okay, what is my average revenue per transaction? And what that means is all of those numbers together, I can tell you exactly how well my practice is going to be doing in a couple of weeks. I can tell you that I can tell you that very, very specifically just by tracking those numbers. What I want you to really get and understand, and this is one of the key things that I work with my doctors after we kind of work through a couple of basic things on the front end, is that after about 2 months, we start digging into what are their metrics and what do their numbers look like and what do they have to be in order for them to hit their goals. Now, this is a much larger conversation, and maybe in the future I'll do an actual full-blown training on this. But this is a really important aspect that I want you to get of these commandments. Maybe, these commandments are all important, they're all intertwined. But this one, the reason why I have it at number 6 is we want to move through some basic stuff before we get you to here. But you have to know your metrics. If you can understand what levers to push in your business to positively impact your numbers, then you are going to find yourself with a practice that is growing, that is going like this. If you don't understand this, if you don't want to dig in, you're going to wind up with a practice that flatlines. You'll be like a patient that flatlines, okay? So these metrics are just like the blood work of a patient. Got it? I hope you do. This is a really important deal. And this is one of my favorite things to work on with my doctors, is we really dig into this. We really start to understand what are the things that move, what are the levers that move the business. Once you understand them, you can move those levers up and down, and you can impact your business positively in a very short order of time. Just by moving those levers, you can impact your business very positively financially in a very short order of time. All right, that is our commandment for the day. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.